time to find out what has got Britain talking this morning. Nick, Ferrari and Trisha Goddard are here.
Morning.
Hi. So good to see you both. Yes, one of the big headlines today, certainly, Nick, is that President Trump has filed a lawsuit against the BBC for defamation over the Panorama documentary speech. He did get the apology back then.
Yes,
the BBC did say that there would be no exchange of cash, but he's carrying on.
He's carrying on. Martin Lewis might be getting a phone call from Donald Trump about a $5 billion... stand by, Martin, if the phone rings from Washington. $5 billion, £3.7 billion. This puts the BBC in a very difficult position. This is the latest in the Panorama drama. It was, by the BBC's own admission, it was a bad edit. It was a bad edit. They made it look as though he said something that he didn't. They took something 50 minutes further down a speech. Where do they put themselves now? If they defend it, they're going to spend a lot of taxpayers' money. They've gone to a Florida court. He's chosen Florida because that's very favourable to...
Let's talk about that.
Right.
Part of that, the lawsuit, is that people in Florida might have seen it through streaming, VPN and BritBox.
Yes, but the footprint, as it's called, isn't the... And he did win. So that you could see why the BBC would want to... He wasn't caused any material damage. He went on to win the election because this was prior.
This is for defamation, so
there is no defamation.
Yeah.
But the BBC, as I say, they won't want to write a big cheque because that won't sit well with taxpayers. They also, I wouldn't imagine, don't want to spend a lot of money on expensive lawyers, flying them out to Florida to fight it. And also, Trump's team will ask for full disclosure of all emails. Now, some of the emails that I imagine have gone round the BBC about their views of Donald Trump. That's going to cause massive embarrassment. So they're fighting on three fronts here.
It's an interesting one, and you know what? I'm not going to comment too much because I have a green card and I have to... No, I'm serious.
They'll look at my...
I'm not even joking. They will look at... They can look at social media. They know I'm a journalist. Any comment I make, anything on my social media can be used against me. All I'll say is that I think it's very sad. The last time I think this happened was when I was living in the Middle East and our letters were censored. But that is the world. I live in America and I have to be very cognizant of that.
But does he have a case?
Yes, he does have it. In part, yes, he does.
He does.
I mean, because...
It was sloppy,
they did get it
wasn't
wrong.
it? It was no, I don't think it was just getting it wrong. I think it was sloppy. And I don't know how it happens and how it gets through so many different people unless they really trusted that team and just let it go to where.
But if you talk a violation of trade practice law, what is that in English? That is effectively what you and I would call a bad edit. Right?
Yeah, bad edit.
You have not done a good journalism, and the lawyer would say, and my client has suffered as a result. The BBC would say, well, no, he hasn't, because he still won the presidency.
Exactly.
So
but it
round
all
and round
will cost
it goes.
money.
But, and when the licence fee is coming up for renewal in a couple of years' time, do they really want to be writing a cheque for $1 billion?
There's this kind of myth that the BBC is so vast. The idea that like this wouldn't be. I mean, of course it would be checked, right? And of course it should have been checked, but it wasn't checked, right? But the idea that the Director General will be across this is a nonsense.
It's rubbish. It would be the executive...
And it's so fragmented.
Editors.
It would be the editors.
So much is made by an independent production company. Have a commissioning editor who works for the BBC to look at this stuff.
But I think
the commissioning editor wouldn't have even seen this, would they?
I think in the Director General's case, it was one crisis too many. There were so many we could point to about Bob Villan and others. I think it was the culmination of 4 or 5 bad ones that went against.
Yeah, which is a shame, because he's a good man.
Eye-watering
Martin, you got to take on this?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, they got it wrong, but they didn't get it $5 billion wrong. You know, this was one programme that didn't go out in the United States. Now, there are 2 lawsuits. There's a defamation and there's violation of trade practices. I've been involved in the defamation suit. I've sued for defamation. I sued Facebook for defamation. And in a UK court, I mean, and the defamation of me was all those fake adverts of me, which clearly defamed my reputation that I'd be involved in such things. And I was told by my lawyers the maximum I would expect was £50,000 for completely lying and perverting in an absolute extreme way what I did. This is $5 billion. I settled for £3 million to go to charity to set up an anti-scam. It was always a campaigning lawsuit. I wasn't looking for any money. I think when you look at these type of lawsuits, in the UK anyway, it's about, was he wronged? And did it lower his reputation in the mind of right-thinking individuals? Well, that's questionable in this edit, if he was watching it. But interestingly as well, the scale How many people in Florida
That's what I was saying.
actually saw it?
Martin,
And
that's what I was saying.
And that impacts the level of payout that they would get. Now, he's gone for jurisdictional tourism. Clearly, this programme was primarily UK audience. If you think you've been wronged, come to a UK court, sue in the UK, where the programme went on board. So this is statesman politics via a legal route. I'm not a lawyer, but it seems to me it would be a very tough case to get a $5 billion payout for something where, you know, it was still him talking, yes, it was the Frankenbite edit was wrong. It was wrong. They shouldn't have done it. Is it defamation? I don't know. The more interesting one is the violation of trade laws. But again, it's a UK programme for a UK audience that you would have had to be violating in a grey area of American law to see it there. You know, this is showmanship and it's brinkmanship and it's the art of a deal, and that's what Trump is about. He's trying to get a deal.
Yeah. Wow. It is
a terrible edit, though. I mean, I remember I used to work on Big Brother.
Sloppy.
If someone's having an argument on Big Brother and someone reacted to that argument, those editors and those producers had a window of a couple of minutes to get that reaction. Otherwise, they couldn't use it. That's on Big Brother.
And that's years ago.
If they'd just done a flash edit, a white edit that said, and the viewers are educated these days how it works. Sometimes you do a cut edit, which is what they did, where it looks seamless. Sometimes you do a flash edit, and I do it on my social media videos. It means this didn't quite follow. But I'm just telling you, it's like putting a ... in a newspaper article. It was a mistake, but it wasn't a $5 billion mistake.
Mike, we're just going to stick with you, because more than $3.4 billion worth of Christmas spending is predicted, has been dubbed the panic weekend for last-minute shoppers. I mean, we talked a little about this earlier on. But does that, giving, your sort of parsimonious reputation, does that kind of make you tear your hair out a little bit?
Well, I don't believe the $3.4 billion, I think, is total nonsense anyway. It's just some random survey. And these things happen all the time. But clearly, lots of people do shop at the last minute. What bothers me, Christmas is a difficult time because people feel under a huge amount of pressure. And I go back to what we didn't talk about earlier. It's this idea of gift obligation. If I haven't, and don't worry about it, Gemma, if I brought in a Christmas present for you today...
OMG. From Martin Lewis, could you imagine?
Martin Lewis.
It's in the green room, all wrapped up with a bow.
4 wheels, and it goes very fast.
If I brought in a Christmas present for you today that cost me 30 quid, what would you feel you then had to do?
30 to 50.
You'd have to buy me one back, wouldn't you? And so, therefore, what's actually happened when we do that is I have chosen what you're going to spend your 30 quid on, because we both swap money. I've chosen... Now, that's fine for people who are affluent, but we go into this whole idea of gift giving as oh, it's wonderful to give gifts. If you give someone a gift who's skint and they feel obligated to buy back to you, and you've chosen to buy them a scarf when they would have preferred to buy new shoes for their kids, you've misprioritised their finances. And at this time of year, when people start doing it without thinking, because, oh, I've got to buy, just got to get something, go. That's where I think we get into very dangerous territory. And we don't allow the shops to set the agenda. If you're panicked right now, sit back and think, what do I actually need to get? And what is the impact of what I'm getting? And maybe calling someone up and say, hey, we talked earlier, give to charity, shall we not give this? Secret Santas are brilliant because they limit all this pressure that's going on. Don't let the shops, don't let the retailers out there pressure you into you must have a perfect Christmas. Do your budget and have the best Christmas you can on that budget. So, yes, it does bother me.
Me and my family are doing Secret Santa this year.
Yeah,
my mum and dad.
But
it's just taken the pressure right.
Yeah. Dermot, what's the limit?
50.
Do you have a limit? 50 quid?
Yeah.
That's still quite a lot, isn't it?
I'm doing all right, but my point is I'm not going to moan about it.
No, that's it. That's nice, exactly.
Luckily, I can afford 50 quid. It's nice to take the pressure off.
Occasionally, people that maybe aren't expecting something from me, but I want to get them something, I will present them with the present at the very last minute.
Right.
And I will purposely say, I don't want anything back.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll give it to the last minute, so there's not even time for them to try to redo that. But it's just something I want to do as a nice gesture.
I think the thing that we've missed, the big thing with presents is kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, children, there's a lot of pressure from ads, but also people want to show their love for their kids through toys, because that's what the ads tell them that love and Christmas is all about.
And I think
the
toys.
big pressure, and they love toys, and their friends have got this, that, and the other.
All bought, all wrapped, all hidden in the air by the air. I've just given it away.
What do you want for Christmas?
Peace on earth.
And goodwill to all.
There we go. How about
Yeah.
that? That's what I wanted to say
Oh,
about that.
Yeah, and goodwill to all
And
they,
goodwill
them.
to all men,
exactly.
yeah.
It sounds like a Christmas #1 song,
There we go.
doesn't it?
There
Funny
we go.
enough. And what is going to be our Christmas #1 song?
I don't even know the Kylie one.
Well, Kylie is really good. She looks fantastic in her new video for it. It's called As in Xmas. And then, of course, she's up against Wham. The classic.
The classic
that's been
Wham.
rolling on for how many years and still sounds fantastic.
Can I just say, when you go into shops at Christmas, it drives you nuts. You hear those Christmas carols over and over.
Oh, do you see, I'm the opposite. I love it.
You love it?
Oh, I love it.
Really?
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Even in November?
Yes, no problem with me. I am a real sucker for
And you know what I
Christmas.
want to be for #1?
What?
The Pogues, Christmas in New York.
Oh,
my,
yeah, that-
My dearest friend Steve Lillywhite produced that. Yeah.
That's a great
And it's
Yeah.
Kirsty's
Hotel in New York.
song.
Yes,
and
Of course.
Yeah, well, that's the answer.
I didn't know this,
Choice.
though. So Kylie's currently 7,000 units ahead of the nearest competitor, Wham's Last Christmas,
Right.
which has topped the charts for the last 2 years.
Apparently that's never happened before. You
Yeah.
know, so that just shows it. I think we're here. Look, gosh, we're going back to whenever this was first recorded. There they are, all those years ago.
George Michael.
It's great. It is great. But if you ask me, it's not bad to change things up, is it? Let's let Kylie get it this year, wouldn't you say?
Why?
Rather than 3 on the run. It's just good
a
to get
very
someone else in
catchy
there.
song. Kylie's is
Yeah,
very,
come
very
on, Kylie.
catchy.
Let's
Someone
go,
sitting
Kylie.
very smug right now is Martin Lewis once again because you've had a #1.
I've had a Christmas #1.
Christmas
You
#1.
have.
I know. The irony that Kylie hasn't and I have. It was in 2022. It was Food Aid, and
right.
I sang the Bono line in the song on that. Oh,
There he is.
I'm glad you're showing the bit where I didn't sing, as opposed to the bit.
No,
Look at you. You see, very good.
Anyway,
Martin,
enough of
impressive.
that. But Tricia, what you'll be delighted to hear about that song is I recorded it in such a way that they will never want to repeat play it when you go to school. It's never happening again. No, I think as well, I think it would be good for Kylie to have it.
Yeah.
But part of the
Kylie.
problem, I think, and having had one, I can say this, with Christmas #1s, is because it's about streaming now, instead of the new music coming in, because we get into this sort of repetitive mode pre-Christmas, it's just about what everyone's listening to. When we were all growing up, it was about what you bought.
Yeah.
So it was new when it was coming in.
Yeah,
And you went and bought vinyl. It's lovely to see that vinyl's coming back.
Cassettes as well.
Cassettes
are making a comeback.
Oh,
yep.
that you have to use a pen to...
That's
No,
it.
thank you.
They are,
my
absolutely.
Thank you,
our
everyone.
Dementia Choir by Vicky McClure.
Yeah.
We're going to give them a shout out as well.
Such
I'd love to see them do
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.